Chapter 12. Selfishness. Those whose earthly interests have been superficial, who have been dominated by pride, vanity, greed, ambition, and selfishness, are held in the earth sphere after transition until these tendencies have been conquered and love and sympathy have been developed through service for others. Frequently spirits whose earth lives were spent in pursuit of pleasure and the pastimes of wealthy society have attained realization of a higher life through our psychic circle. Among these was one who sank with the Titanic in 1912. Experience October 22nd, 1916. Spirit John J.A. Psychic Mrs. Wickland. After the spirit of W.T. Stead had visited with us a few moments, another spirit came in, struggling desperately as if swimming, and called loudly for aid. Spirit, help! Help! Doctor, where did you come from? Spirit, that man who just left told me to come in here. Doctor, have you been in the water? Spirit, I drowned, but I have come to life again. I cannot see that man now, but I heard him talking and he told me to step in. He said that you know the way and would teach me, and that I could go with him afterwards, but now I cannot see him. I'm blind. I don't know whether the water blinded me or not, but I am blind. Doctor, that is only spiritual blindness. When a person passes out of his physical body without a knowledge of the laws of the higher life, he finds himself in a condition of darkness. It is the darkness of ignorance. Spirit, then I will not always be blind. Doctor, you must realize that you are in the spirit world, and that spirit friends are here who will teach you how to progress out of your condition of darkness. Spirit, I can see a little now. For a while I could see, but the door was shut again and I could not see through. I was with my wife and child for a time, but no one noticed me. But now the door is closed and I am out in the cold. I am all alone when I go to my home. Changes seem to have taken place. I don't know what I shall do. Doctor, you have not realized your own situation. Spirit, what is the matter anyway? What is causing this darkness? How can I get out of it? I never was so handicapped as I am now. I was all right for just a minute. I hear somebody talking. There, now I see him again. Was it Mr. Stead? Doctor, Mr. Stead was speaking through this instrument just before you came. Mr. Stead probably brought you here for help. It is our work to awaken earthbound spirits who are in darkness. Spirit, this darkness is terrible. I have been in this darkness for a long time. Doctor, understand that there is no death. Life continues in the spirit world, where each one must serve others in order to progress. Spirit, I really was not what I should have been. I just lived for self. I wanted amusement and to spend money. But now all I have seen is my past, and I have been in the darkness. And it is terrible. Every act of my past stands before me, and I want to run away from it, but I cannot. It is there all the time and accuses me because I could have done differently. I've seen so many places where I could have done good, but now it seems too late. Doctor, when a person lives for self alone, he usually finds himself in darkness when he passes over to the other side of life. He must obtain understanding of the glories of the spirit world and realize that life there is service to others. That is the true heaven. It is a condition of mind. Spirit, why are not these things taught in the world? Doctor, would the world listen? Humanity as a whole does not look for the spiritual side of life, but looks for other things. The world is seeking for amusement and for selfish gain, not for truth. Spirit, there is such a queer feeling coming over me. Mother, my loving mother. Spirit, I am a man, but I feel like a child in your arms again. I have been longing for you, but I've been living all by myself in this terrible darkness. In the terrible darkness, why is it that I should be in the dark? Cannot my eyes be cured? Will I be blind all the time? Isn't it strange that I can see you, yet I seem to be blind? Doctor, you have a spiritual body now. And when your spiritual eyes are open, you will see the beautiful things of the spirit world. Spirit, I see Mr. Stead there, We were both in the same boat, but he does not seem to be in the dark. Doctor, he understood the truth of spirit return and life on the other side while he was on earth. Life is a school, and we must learn all we can about the spirit side of life while we are on earth. For the only light we have when we pass to the other side is knowledge pertaining to life's problems, which we have gathered here. Spirit, why did no one ever tell me these things? Doctor, would you have listened to anyone who would have tried to talk to you on these subjects? Spirit, no one ever approached me with such ideas. Doctor, what year do you think it is? Spirit, 1912. Doctor, it is 1916. Spirit, where have I been? I have been very hungry and cold. I had a great deal of money, but lately when I have wanted some to spend, I could not get hold of it. Sometimes I seemed to be shut up in a room very dark, and I could see nothing but a procession of my past life. I was not a bad man, but you probably know what society people are. I did not know until now what it was to be poor. It is a new experience to me. Why should humanity not be taught differently before death? Then there would not be such suffering as I am in now. Doctor, if you will go with your mother and other spirit friends and try to understand what they tell you, you will feel much happier. Spirit, I can see Mr. Stead. I met him on the boat, but I had no use for his teachings. I thought he was old and that he had a hobby. You know, when people get old, they have hobbies of one kind or another. I never had time for such things because all I thought of was my money and society. We do not see the poor people, and we do not care to see them. I could do so differently now, but money is of no use to me any longer. My mother is waiting for me, and I should like to go with her, for I have not seen her for years, and it is so good to see her. She says she could not reach me, for I was like a crazy man and would not listen to her. Bless you all for the help you have been to me, and for having opened my eyes. It is misery to be blind, yet able to see the procession of your past life, and not be able to see or hear anything else. Doctor, we should like to know your name. Spirit, I am John J.A., and I am glad I met you all. I am so grateful for what you have told me. Now I can see and hear and understand something that I did not know existed. My mother and friends are coming for me, and now I am going through that beautiful gate into what will be, to me, heaven. I again thank you all, and hope someday to come and see you again. Goodbye. A few weeks later, the foregoing spirit brought a friend, another member of New York's aristocracy, who had met his death at the sinking of the Lusitania? Experience November 5th, 1916. Spirit Alfred V. Psychic Mrs. Wickland. Spirit, somebody told me to come in here and I would get warm. Doctor, what is your name? Spirit Alfred V. I was on a boat. John J. came and told me. He would try to help me get in here. He said if I would come in here, I would get help. Say, I've never been hungry in my life before, but I'm both hungry and cold. My clothes are all wet. Doctor, that is only a condition of your mind. You have lost your physical body and should not feel the need of food. Spirit, I know I drowned, and I have been in misery ever since. Doctor, if you had an understanding of the life hereafter and of progression in the spirit world, you would soon find happiness through serving others. Spirit, I never was happy. I suppose I had my own way too much. Sometimes I felt, what was the use? But I thought, just forget yourself and have a good time. You may not care for society life, but in society you can drown yourself in gaiety. I really did not care for society life. I used to forget myself with my horses. If you have a beautiful horse, he is faithful to you through life. But when you get into society, women just show you one side, smiles, and sometimes they hate you. The love I know most is the love of a beautiful, faithful horse. Horses were my pleasure, and I felt they loved me. Women liked me only for what I could do for them. They wanted money and pleasure. Women wanted all the money they could get from me. I let go of things and tried to lose myself in pleasure, but I was not happy. Society does not know anything about honor and respectability. If I could find people as faithful and true as my horse was to me, I tell you I would thank you for that society. But go into the kind of society I have known, and men and women are nothing. I was a sport myself, but there were things that drove me to forget that little thing within me, conscience. I longed for something that was good, but where can you find it? Not amongst society, but amongst horses. Society is all right if you want that kind of life. You'll probably realize that I developed a great deal of selfishness. Doctor, you must try now to forget your past life with all its sorrow and bitterness. Look for higher things. Then your spiritual eyes will be opened. Spirit, friends that took an interest in me brought me here, and my eyes have been opened since I came. I feel that probably, but I am not sure, a time may come when I can be happy. I've never been really happy, for when a child, I had my own way too much. I thank you for allowing me to come here. If I ever am truly happy, I will come back and tell you so. A sequel to the above occurred several years later when John J. A. and Alfred V. brought to our circle a friend of theirs, Anna H., stage celebrity. Experience September 8th, 1918. Spirit Anna H., psychic Mrs. Wickland. Spirit water, please water. A glass of water was given and eagerly taken. Thank you so much. I have been very sick and am still weak. The doctors really do not know what is the matter with me. They said I must keep quiet. My legs and arms pain me so. Doctor, we will relieve your pain. Manipulating arms of psychic. Spirit, be very careful about my bones. I want to retain my beautiful form. I want to get well and return to my work. I have been very sick and I'm still very weak. Doctor, what is your name? Spirit, my name is Anna H. Doctor, how did you come to Los Angeles? Spirit, I am not in Los Angeles. I am in New York. Doctor, who brought you here? Spirit, I thought I had a dream, and that Alfred B. came and spoke to me. He always liked me, but he is dead. Now he says that I must wake up. I am so sick. My bones. I don't want to lose my beautiful form. I feel that I am commencing to get better and stronger. Will I live now? And can I perform again and do my work? I do not want to lose my beautiful form. Doctor, you will never perform on the physical plane again. Spirit, I hope to. Alfred B. bothered me so much, but he is dead. Doctor, does he look as though he were dead? Spirit, he seems to be very well, but I thought I was dreaming. Why, here's John J. A. too. They are both dead. Doctor, so are you. Spirit, when did I die? Doctor, a short time ago. Spirit, Alfred says that they do missionary work to wake up spirits, but they do not believe in such things as spirits. I don't want to die. Doctor, nobody actually dies. Doctor, nobody actually dies. Spirit, of course they do. The doctor said I could never get well. I fought and fought to live. I want to live. I want to overcome my sickness and get well again, and I want to retain my beautiful form. Doctor, from now on you must try to develop a beautiful spirit. Spirit, the two men want me to go with them to find understanding. Doctor, they have found the truth through this little circle. They were very poor spiritually before they came here, but became rich through an understanding of a more beautiful life than they had here on earth. Spirit, what is this place? They say it is the gate to the understanding of real life, the gateway. Noticing dress. This dress does not fit well, touching neck and shoulders. This is not my neck or face or form. They say I am weak yet, but I am to go with them, and they will show me the way, but that I have much to learn. Doctor, did you ever ask yourself what is mind? Spirit, no, I just wanted my beautiful form. If it were not for my beautiful form and acting, I could not have attracted people to me and earned my living. There are quite a few people here. Spirit, Alfred said if I came here, he would bring me to my relations and to a beautiful home beyond the grave. Doctor, what do they call that place? Spirit, I do not like the name, but they say the spirit world. They say that is the home beyond the grave. They say I shall have to overcome my earthly condition before I can open my psychic eyes. I do not know what they mean. They say if I go with them, I will find beautiful conditions after I have understanding, but that I shall have to overcome a great deal of self and live for others. Alfred says that we live for society and ourselves, and we have to suffer for it. He says I must go, but I cannot, for I am very sick. Doctor, your body was sick, but you have lost that body. It is in the East. Spirit, I feel better now than I did a while ago. Doctor, my wife is a psychic sensitive, and you are speaking through her body. Alfred B. and John J. A. at one time controlled her body as you are now doing. Spirit, my bones are so sore. Doctor, that is only in your mind. Mind is not the body. Mind is invisible. We do not see you at all. You are invisible to us. Spirit, touching face. This is not my face, and I don't want this form. I want my beautiful form. Doctor, it will be your duty to serve others in the spirit world. Spirit, these people want me to go with them. They took quite an interest in me and my work. My pain seemed to be leaving me. Will you please tell me how I could come here when you are all strangers to me? I do not know why I should be here tonight. I feel so well now. Doctor, we are carrying on experimental work to learn what becomes of the dead. My wife is a psychic, and you are controlling her body. Spirit, Alfred says I must go. I thought I had a dream and that I was going to die, but I fought and fought for a long time. I did not want to die, so I used all my willpower to live as long as I could. One day I felt very weak, and I went to sleep for quite a while, but I woke up again, as I wanted to live. They thought I was dead, but I was not. I had only gone to sleep. I wanted to live because life is dear to me, but I was sick so long and suffered so severely. I went to sleep again, and I slept a long time, and when I woke up it was all dark, and I could not see anything at all. Everything was dark, dark, dark. I could not find any light, and it was so dark. I felt so distressed, all dark. I thought then I went to sleep again, and as I slept I dreamed Alfred B. and John J.A. came to me and said, Anna, wake up. We are here to help you. Come with us. Come. I thought I was waking up, but I was so sick that I could not go with them. My crippled body was so sick. They said, we will take you to a place where you will have a new body, and you will be well and strong. Come with us to a more beautiful world than this. Here I am, all well and strong. Will I not have those terrible pains again? They are so hard on me. I felt I must not eat too much or drink too much, or I would not be able to retain my beautiful form. I would not eat meat because I would get too fat, and I must eat just enough to retain the roundness of my form. What have I now? Why did I not do more helpful things? Life was so sweet. I like to be flattered, and I like to have admirers. It is so hard to lose your admirers. Doctor, do Alfred B. and J.A. flatter you now? Spirit, no, they do not look as they used to. There is a seriousness about them. They look so sincere that I feel different with them. While to me they look much younger. I know they are older. They do not say to me as they once did, come along and have a good time. Life was very sweet while I had admirers, but I suffered from my vanity. The doctor said if I had not laced so much, I would not have been so sick. Is that drugs? I would not mind the doctor either. They wanted me to eat to get strength, but I was afraid if I lay there and ate and did not get my regular massage and baths, I could not keep my form, so I starved myself. When I was in the dark, Alfred came to me and said, Come, I will show you something far more beautiful than a beautiful form and selfishness and vanity. They are only shadows. Now come, and we will show you why we should live for others. You will be beautiful again, when you have served others, but you must forget self and overcome all selfishness. Now I must serve, and I must help. Suddenly Spirit lost control and was gone. 2 years later, after Anna H. had brought the spirits of Olive T. and Anna D. to our circle, she spoke to us again. So then it was drugs. Because Olive and Anna, didn't they also have some drug problem? Experience, September 22nd, 1920. Spirit, Anna H., Psychic Mrs. Wickland. Good evening. I came here tonight to thank you for what you have done for me. I am now very happy. I only lived for myself and for my body and beauty. I lived only for a good time. When you live for a good time, you are not really happy. You are always afraid that someone will shine brighter than yourself, or that someone will take your place and charm away your admirers. Here in this room I found harmony when I was in such darkness. I could not see anything except all the promises I had made and broken, and I felt sad. Now I have understanding of the real life. The real life is to serve others, to do good for others, to help others. Then you yourself will have help. This brings happiness, which is heaven. It is the heaven of contentment. When I first came here, I was very sad and gloomy. I had only thought of self, with never a thought of God, our Maker. We should all think of Him and learn to know Him. He is the one we should pray to, and we should try to realize what life is. We should learn to know, not be satisfied with blind belief, learn to understand God in His truest sense. I was once quite a church-going girl. I believed and condemned others, and thought if you did not do so and so, you would be lost. That is the reason many fall by the wayside. People only have time for amusement. They do not go to church. Why are they not taught to understand the real Christ's Spirit? Give them innocent amusement of one kind or another, and do not keep them wrapped in gloom, praying and praying all the time. They fall. They want to go to church, and they want to have a good time, but they are taught that if they do not go to church and pray, they will fall lower and lower, and they will be condemned, not by God, but condemned by the people. If a girl falls, who will raise her up? Does the church do this work? No. Churches will not have anything to do with her because they say she is bad. They say we do not want our daughters to go about with her and be seen in her company because she will make them bad. Since churches teach the gospel of Christ, why should they not help such a soul to rise? Christ did not accuse the fallen woman. He said that he who was without sin should cast the first stone. Because a woman had fallen, accusers stood ready to throw stones at her. When Christ spoke, the accusers went away. Then what did Christ do? He took her hand, lifted her up, and said, "Where are your accusers? Go and sin no more." He meant she should try to enter a new life and do better, but society will not have her. The churches will not have her. She is down, but where will she go? Where can she go? She has not sinned against anyone but herself. Her own self accuses her for what she has done. How can she rise? If she goes to church, she will not be helped there. She can only go to the lowest condition, where there is a good time and champagne, and try to drown her conscience. Suppose we tell the people that this unfortunate girl has fallen, and has had to go into a wild underworld, has been bad, has had no chance to rise, and that her character has gone. Will they help her? No, they will not. We should always try to help others, especially the weak and fallen ones, and try to raise them as Christ taught us. Do not condemn, but raise them to society again and help them to be honest and sincere. Then we shall convert the world of men as well as women. Men are also greatly to blame for trying to ruin poor innocent little girls. Just because a girl has a beautiful face and has charms, men should not praise and flatter. They ruin the girl. The man goes back to society, but the girl goes lower and lower. She cannot go back to her former life, but has to remain where she is. If you could see the lower life of Paris, you would shudder and realize that is hell. People who go there have lost their pride, their senses. The women there have lost all modesty. They do not believe in God. They do not believe in the Christian religion anymore, because the Christian religion and its people have driven them to what they are. They think there is no God, and so they can do whatever they wish. Let us try to help these unfortunates. I am now working in the slums of earthbound spirits. I am serving. There was a time when I would not soil my hands to help anybody because I had to be waited on. I had my maid, and if I were not waited on at once, just when I wanted things, I scolded and was very irritable. Now I wait on the lowest with the true spirit of Christ, who taught us to serve others and love others as ourselves and God above all things. When the one who has fallen by the wayside is given true understanding, then that soul will serve, and his love for his fellow man will be much stronger than that of the one who does not have that understanding. One who has always had a good home, gone to church, and is pure and good knows nothing of evil. Let us all understand our Maker, the God of us all. Our Maker is God for the one who has fallen just as much as the one who is pure. God is love. Our Maker is God for the one who has fallen just as much as for the pure. God is love. When you have shining in your heart and light of love, which is the love of God, not love as people understand it, lukewarm, sentimental love, but love which has suffered and which understands, which does not ask anything, which sacrifices and will serve from the lowest to the highest. That is real true love. When people are crushed, we should raise them again with love and sympathy. Then we could not condemn anyone. God does not condemn. Why should we? God loves all his children. He has given them all free will to go their own way for a while until they are ready to say, "Not my will any longer, but thine." Each one of us has had experience in one way or another, but let us all look to God and let the love of God and understanding so shine in our souls that each will be a part of that divine spirit of love. No minister, no one can reach you, but you yourself will have to see and feel what God really is. Then you will sin no more. That is heaven. That is bliss. It is beautiful. It is harmonious. When each understands the other in God's love, then there is peace and harmony. But you will have to feel this beautiful condition, which we call heaven, within you. You cannot be contented in this beautiful condition unless you help others. We stand by our brothers and sisters. We call them so through love of God. Say to those in misery, "Let me reach my hand down to you, and I will help you to an understanding of the true love of God, and you, too, will shine in this heaven of love." From your own home in the spirit world, you reach down to the lower plane, and you see some here, some there, in all kinds of agony. Some have taken their own lives because of disappointment in love. Others are overcome by sickness. Others are all crippled. Others are being punished by conscience. Through lack of understanding, they pray and sing. They are only ignorant. They pray to the personal God they believe in, but the poor things do not understand the truth. Others are earthbound because of their belief. They do not want to talk to you because you do not belong to their church. They say, I do not want to have anything to do with you. You stay there and I will stay here. And the praying and singing goes on. They do not know that they have passed out. Neither do they know of the wonderful God of understanding. When you have understanding, the knowledge of God will shine in your heart. I am in the spirit world now, and it is all so beautiful, but I would not have had all this happiness so soon had I not come here and been given understanding. I would not have had it if I had not But I would not have had this happiness so soon had I not come here and been given understanding. I would not have had it if I had not served. I have brought many here who were crippled through lack of understanding, and they received light. These two young girls, Olive T. and her little friend Anna D., who both took their own lives, are ones whom I will look after. I could do nothing with them because they knew I was dead. Their fear of me kept me from them. They shunned me. I could not reach them. I did not want them to go any other place. I did not want them to go to Earth life and obsess someone. I brought both of them here tonight, and I shall take them to my home in the spirit world. I will take care of them and help them to an understanding, and someday they may come and thank you as I have come to thank you tonight. Let us all have an understanding of truth. Do not believe. Do not only believe. Belief is all right. But to your belief add knowledge and understanding of God's wonderful love. Do not let others tell you that they will save you, because they cannot do it. You will have to find the saving spirit within yourself. When the love of understanding shines in your heart, you will realize the wisdom of God. Then you will not need to think that God is in his heaven. He is here, there, and everywhere. He is in the drop of water. He is in the flowers. All are a part of his wonderful work. Let us worship him, and let us see him with open eyes, and we will be happy. Thank you for allowing me to come. Goodbye. In Chicago, we had known two Jewish ladies, Mrs. SR, and Mrs. Simmons, who were excellent friends, although the latter was somewhat tyrannical in her exactions. She particularly disapproved of the automatic writing which her friend was experimenting with, declaring that spiritualism was a fraud, since after death everyone became a flower, a bird, or a tree. Mrs. Simmons passed away in the presence of her friend, suffering from dropsy and intense lumbago pains. A number of years later, when Mrs. SR was in California, she developed melancholia and was afflicted so severely with pains in her back that she could not walk erectly. After spending 3 weeks in the hospital without any improvement, she came to us, and after the following experience during a circle at which Mrs. SR was present, she was entirely relieved. Experience October 27th, 1919. Spirit Mrs. Simmons. Patient Mrs. SR. Psychic Mrs. Wickland. The controlling entity groaned and immediately placed hands on back, apparently in great pain. Doctor, are you in trouble? Have you lost your body without understanding it? Spirit, I don't know. Doctor, we can relieve your pain. Tell us who you are. Spirit, I don't know. Doctor, surely you know your own name. Spirit, I cannot think. Doctor, how long have you been dead? Spirit, I don't know if I am dead. Doctor, what did your friends call you? Spirit, Mrs. Simmons. Doctor, where did you live? Spirit, Chicago. Doctor, where did you live in Chicago? Spirit, it's a long time ago and I don't know. I have not felt just right. Doctor, in what way? Spirit, I felt so small and was so uncomfortable. Doctor, do you realize that you are interfering with someone? Spirit, I know that I am in such a stupor. I don't feel natural. Doctor, do you know the reason for that? Spirit, no. Doctor, you did not believe in spirits, did you? Spirit, no, and I don't believe it yet. Doctor, then you do not believe in your own self, do you? You thought anyone who believed in spirits was foolish. Is it not foolish to be an earthbound spirit? Do you realize that you have been one? Mrs. SR, do you know me? Spirit, I know that voice. It belongs to a friend of mine. Doctor, where is she? Spirit, in Chicago. Doctor, what was her business? Spirit, I don't know. Everything is so dark and I cannot remember anything. I know that voice, but I cannot tell you who it belongs to. I cannot remember her name at all, but I knew her in Chicago. She used to call and see me. My friend was always like sunshine to me. She helped me. Doctor, what did she do? Spirit, she always came with such a nice, cheerful disposition, but she got interested in spiritualism once. I told her not to bother with it because there was nothing in it. I would not have anything to do with that. I miss her so. I only see her once in a while. I feel so little and uncomfortable. To save my life, I cannot think of her name. Doctor, what was her first name? Spirit, it comes to me now. It was R. Something ails my memory, and things are so queer to me. Once in a while, I get a glimpse of light, and then I feel I'm locked up in this small place. You know, I'm a big woman, and in that little place, or a patient, I was so crowded that I had no feeling. Doctor, did you get warmed up occasionally? Spirit, yes, once in a while. I do not know what is the matter, but something burns me sometimes. The static treatment given to the patient. Now it is all dark, dark. I do not see a thing. I do not know which is the best, the fire or being crowded so that I got no breath. I could not breathe. I do not know why it is, but I seem to have gotten a shock. Doctor, did you die from a shock? Spirit, I cannot tell that I'm dead because I do not feel dead. I have had fire, and sometimes it was like thunder shooting pains. Mrs. S.R., do you remember Dr. Wickland? Spirit, yes. Mrs. S.R., do you remember that machine he had? Spirit, the one that shot fire. Mrs. S., yes, and that is the fire you feel. Spirit, why, I didn't take treatments from him. Mrs. S.R., you have been bothering me all these years. Spirit, why did I bother you? Mrs. S.R., have Doctor explain it to you. Doctor, it is not hard to explain. You are now a spirit and have been hovering around your friend. That is why you feel uncomfortable. You are not in Chicago now. You are in California. You are in Los Angeles, California. Don't you remember, Mrs. S.R.? Spirit, yes, she was in Chicago. Doctor, you are both in Los Angeles now. Spirit, I was in Chicago. I always had pains in my legs and very often in my head. Mrs. S.R., you gave me those pains lately. Doctor, you loaned Mrs. S.R. your pains. Spirit, no, you are mistaken in that. Mrs. S.R., do you remember Mrs. Wickland in Chicago, Dr. Wickland's wife? Do you remember she was a psychic? Spirit, I don't seem to remember. It is strange that I don't know anything. Mrs. S.R., you thought you knew so much. Spirit, I supposed I knew. You meddled with that foolish thing, spiritualism, and I did not want to have anything to do with it. Have you been fooling with it again? Mrs. S.R., no, you have been fooling with me. Spirit, no, I did not want to have anything to do with that. There is nothing in it. I didn't like that fire. I could not stand it. It chased me away. I suffered terribly. When I was chased out, I was locked up in a new room. Doctor, you were locked in a room of ignorance. Mrs. S.R., it is a long time since you died. Spirit, I am not dead. Doctor, look at this hand. Is that yours? You are using another body now. You are proving that what you thought was humbug is true. Mrs. S.R., do you know what year it is, Mrs. Simmons? Spirit, I don't know anything. Where is my home? Where is my girl? Mrs. S.R., your girl is not here. You are in Los Angeles, California. Spirit, no, now you are a little off. Mrs. S.R., don't you know you are in Chicago? Spirit, no, you are a little off. Mrs. S.R., don't you know you are in Chicago? Mrs. S.R., I have been here in California for 6.5 years. Spirit, we are in Chicago. Such a foolish woman. She is hypnotized and wants to have me believe such a story. Doctor, wouldn't you like to understand matters? You have been dead a good many years, and were hovering around your friend, Mrs. S.R. You were driven away from her by electricity. Now you are allowed to control my wife's body temporarily so you may acquire understanding. Do you know anything about the purpose of life? Did that ever interest you? No, therefore you think there could not be anything in a higher life. You call yourself Mrs. Simmons. This body belongs to Mrs. Wickland, and she is in Los Angeles, California. You claim you are in Chicago, and we cannot convince you of the facts. You have been obsessing Mrs. S.R. Spirit, I came to her because it was dark. It was so dark. It seems I had been sleeping for a while. Then I woke up. I saw a light. Then I was here. I could see just a little light if I could be with her. Doctor, you got into her magnetic aura and made her suffer. In order to get you out, I applied electricity to her. Mrs. S.R., do you know what I told Doctor? I told him to give you that electricity. Spirit, you have no sympathy for a poor old lady like me. Doctor, would you have liked to have an earthbound spirit control your body? Spirit, I will not listen to you. Doctor, you are willing to bother your friend. Spirit, I do not know whether I have been bothering her. I have only been around her to see light. Doctor, then how did you happen to get electricity when I gave it to her? I have never treated you. Mrs. S.R., by right you ought to pay Dr. Wickland for that treatment, Mrs. Simmons. Spirit, tell me one thing. How did I come here? I do not think you are right, Mrs. S., but if you should be, how did you come to California? Mrs. S.R., by paying my railroad fare I came here. Did you pay anything? Spirit, I never paid anything, so how did I get here? I don't believe it anyhow. You cannot say that to me. I am in Chicago, and Mrs. SR was never in California. Doctor, do you hear that rumble? That is a train leaving Los Angeles for Chicago. Spirit, that is the Northwestern train. Doctor, there is no Northwestern train out here. What do you gain by arguing? When you understand the situation, you will appreciate what I'm trying to tell you. What would you think of a person who refused to understand life, who has been dead 7 or 8 years, whose body is lost and in the grave, and who is an ignorant spirit bothering one who was formerly a friend? Spirit, I cannot see how that is. Doctor, we are telling you facts. Mrs. SR, your body was buried in Waltham Cemetery 6 or 8 years ago. Spirit, I have been sleeping. I woke up with very severe pains, and I could not move very well, and I felt so crowded. Doctor, that was because Mrs. SR's body is smaller than yours, and you have been obsessing her. Spirit, how could I get in that body? I felt I could hardly move. I've had to find out what you are talking about. I have to find out what you are talking about. I don't believe it. I want to know what object you have to say such things. Doctor, did you ever study life at all? Spirit, I studied trees and nature. Doctor, did you observe how the trees grow? It is wonderful. God puts life into it and it grows. What is life? Spirit, God, I suppose. Doctor, have you ever seen mind? Spirit, mind is mind. Doctor, have you ever seen mind? Spirit, no. How could you not talk if you had no mind? Doctor, mind is invisible, isn't it? Spirit, I haven't seen it. Doctor, suppose we tell you that you are invisible to us. When I speak to you, I can see only my wife's body. Spirit, your wife's body. Mrs. SR, what is the matter? Have I lost my body? Mrs. SR, yes, you have. Doctor, only your stubbornness keeps you in the dark. Spirit, I haven't seen or heard anything. There was a time, I tell you, when I walked on, but I was always in the dark, and it seemed like I never could get there. I rested, then I kept on walking. At first I could see just a little light, and it seemed like it came to me in a flash. Mrs. SR, I thought. Yes, she was a friend of mine, and then I could see her. Doctor, you transferred yourself by thought. Spirit, then I had terrible pain. I thought I had lost all my pain for a little while. I woke up and felt no pain at first, but when I got to that light, all the pain came back. Doctor, you had pain when you had your body. You must understand you are spirit, invisible to us. When an earthbound spirit comes in touch with a mortal body, he again has the pains he passed out with. You got in touch with Mrs. SR and had your mortal pains again. You have caused trouble. You are selfish, and you have not gained anything by it. In the spirit world, you will have to serve others. Realize that you are now a spirit. You no longer have a physical body. Why did you not become a tree as you expected to? Mrs. SR, your body is buried in Waltham Cemetery, Chicago. Go to the cemetery and see if you have a tombstone there. Spirit, I don't want to go and examine my tombstone in the cemetery. Doctor, did you go to church? Spirit, I believed that when I died there was nothing more. I didn't want to have such foolish thoughts as you had, Mrs. SR. I had my own ideas and did not need yours. Doctor, God created the world, but you did not investigate anything. Spirit, in great excitement. My God, I see my mother. A spirit. Why, she is in her grave. Yes, many years ago. It must be a ghost. She looks so beautiful. Doctor, she did not limit her mind as you did. She did not want to be a tree. You must be willing to learn. Jesus said, except ye become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. The spirit of Jewish faith. I do not believe in Jesus. Doctor, what you believe or what you do not believe has nothing to do with the facts of life. Spirit, Mother, is that really you? Why, look at that beautiful road with beautiful trees and flowers. See that beautiful garden, those beautiful houses, and my mother walking around. Doctor, your mother is not a tree, is she? Spirit, now she is walking on that beautiful road. She says, come, this is my home. Her home, but not mine. Can I go with my mother? Doctor, ignorance cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Spirit, look at that steep hill which I have to climb. I cannot climb that hill with that big body I have. Mother says, no, you cannot climb it with your body, but you have to climb the hill of understanding, and you must forget yourself. Forget that you have existed in your selfishness. You must serve. I know, yes, I was selfish. Mother, I will try, but help me up there. I cannot do it alone, crying. I cannot stay in this misery any longer. Take me, mother, with you. I must take me with you and show me. She says I must work and not be lazy as I was in life and expect everybody to do something for me. If they did not do what I wanted, then I got angry. My mother says, now you have to serve. You have to work to climb this hill of understanding to a higher life. You have now to learn the first lesson of life, the lesson of understanding, and you will have to go up that hill until you have gotten away from all selfishness, jealousy, and envy. You must do that. You must also ask for forgiveness for what you have done to your old friend. You will have to do it, my mother says. You will have to be forgiven, crying. No, you must ask for forgiveness because you have been selfish, very selfish. All thoughts of self must be thrown away and you must live for others. I am your mother, but I cannot take you to my home yet because you must learn. Doubtfully, she says she is my mother, but I do not know. Yes, I believe it must be, but she looks so beautiful. Doctor, that is because she is filled with the spirit of truth. Spirit, Mrs. S.R., if I ask you to forgive me, will you forgive me? Mrs. S.R., I surely will. You didn't know any better. Spirit, you have helped me to light, and it was because of you that I reached this understanding. Mrs. S., you must thank the Wicklins for it. Spirit, I don't feel like thanking them for it. Mother says I must, because I would still be in that terrible pain and agony but for them. She says I got into your magnetic aura with a mind full of pain and selfishness and envy. Love was not in me except selfish love, and she says now I must have love for others and not self. Forget self and work for others. Then, she says, I will be happy. Doctor, love is the fulfillment of the law. Spirit, I don't know. I didn't have much interest in those things. I now see myself as I was. I was a bundle of selfishness. Mrs. S.R., I must ask you to forgive me because many times I spoke to you in a very rude way and I was selfish. I felt people should always come to me, and they had to do it. I see now my selfishness. Mrs. S.R., please forgive me. I ask it now from my heart. I see now, but before I did not want to see it because that was putting my past life before me and how I had lived for self. I do not want that evil, ugly, homely body of mine, which they, guiding intelligences, show me. That is not my body. Doctor, that is your spiritual body, for you have made no other. You have made a spiritual body of only selfishness and jealousy. Spirit is all crippled and wrinkled. Doctor, you will have to alter it by your good acts for others. You will have to wear the garment you made until you have earned another. Spirit, to think I should have to wear such an ugly, homely, old fool thing, that spiritual body of mine, just because I did not do anybody any good. Doctor, you will have to wear that and be happy until you have learned how to earn another, and to climb the hill of understanding and wisdom. Spirit, so I have to live now in that awful body of mine. I have to get in. Doctor, serve your fellow man. Spirit, I will be brave and I will try, because now I see what I should have done, but I did not do it. They say it is not too late, and I will try to wear that body all wrinkled and so homely. They tell me I can soon wear it out by good acts, and each time I do some good acts, some wrinkles will be taken away, and there will be a change for the better. I will try to be happy. It is hard. Mrs. S.R., help me. Doctor, we will all help you. Spirit, give me some little sympathy, because I have to be in that terrible homely body of mine that I have made only by selfishness and hate. I will wear it until I can do better. I need help and strength so that I can stand it. Mrs. S.R., forgive me. They say I have done harm to you, and that now I have to wear that homely body and have to serve you. I will serve you and help you. My first lesson will be how to be kind. I will. Doctor, you will find many good friends who will help you. Ask the intelligent spirits to help you. Will you ask them? Spirit, yes, I will. They say I must thank you for those thunder shots. Doctor, do you believe in spirits now? Spirit, I must, I suppose. Don't be like I was selfish, but do what you can so that you will not have to get into a crippled up body like mine. They say no one can help us to work out of our own salvation. Make your spirit body more beautiful than mine. Now I will go and begin my work. Goodbye. Miss F.H., a talented young musician of gentle disposition, was a student in college when she suddenly became violent and destructive, tore her clothes into shreds, and struck everyone who came near her. She was finally placed in a sanitarium kept in a locked room for some time, and her case diagnosed as dementia precox. When brought to our institute, she had become almost a skeleton. At this time she declared constantly her name was not Miss H, but that she was Margaret Young of England and had 2 children. One noon, as Miss H was seated at the table, Mrs. Wicklund clairvoyantly saw the spirit of a newsboy take possession of the patient and reach eagerly for food, exclaiming, "Gee whiz, I'm hungry. I haven't had anything to eat for a long time." His hunger satisfied, the newsboy left, and after this occurrence the spirit of Margaret Young ceased tormenting the patient. C.H., who understood obsession and was of great help to her. Miss F.H. had with her as companion a younger sister, Miss C.H., who understood obsession was of great help to her. One afternoon, while Miss F.H. was seated at the piano, she suddenly became controlled by a strange entity, but the sister sharply ordered the intruder to leave, and the patient again became herself. The spirit controlled Miss Wicklund during a psychic circle held that evening, and after this the patient improved rapidly. Within 4 months she returned to her home entirely well, graduated from college, and later took up music professionally. Experience, October 6, 1920. Spirit Alice, patient Miss F.H., psychic Mrs. Wicklund. Doctor, where did you come from? Spirit, I came here as a visitor. Doctor, would you please introduce yourself? Spirit, I must find out where I am. I do not know any of you people. Doctor, will you please tell us who you are? Spirit, I do not know whether I want to tell you who I am. Doctor, then tell us how long you have been dead. Spirit, dead. Doctor, do you understand your situation? Why are you here? Spirit, I do not know what I came here for. Somebody told me to come in here, but I do not see any object in coming. Doctor, perhaps we may learn something from you. You could tell us about your life and present condition. Tell us who you are. Introduce yourself. Spirit, oh, I do not know. Doctor, who told you to come in here? Do you know the party? Spirit, no. I was walking around trying to find some place. Everything had been so dark, and I have been walking such a long time, and am very tired. I do not want to be talked to. I want to rest. Doctor, you cannot do that because you are a stranger here. Are you a man or a woman? Spirit, that is a very strange question to ask. Doctor, it may seem so to you. Spirit, can't you see whether I am a man or a woman? Don't they dress differently? Doctor, this is a lady's body in this chair. Are you a lady? Spirit, I most certainly am not a man. Doctor, were you a woman or a girl? Spirit, I have not changed to a man, I tell you. Doctor, you evidently changed your bodily form. If I tell you that this is the body of my wife, you would be surprised. Evidently, you are still asleep. Spirit, asleep, this time of day. Doctor, why not try to understand matters? You know you are in a strange situation. Try to understand it. Try to learn the reason. This body is not your own. Spirit, how you talk. I came into this room, and I certainly could not come in without a body. I did not come in like a feather floating around. Doctor, do you recognize these hands? Spirit, those hands belong to me. Doctor, I want you to understand that you are using someone's body temporarily. You do not recognize these hands. Spirit, I am not used to such treatment, haughtily. I used to be in society. General laughter. Oh dear, everyone is laughing at me. I do not know what to do. It is so provoking. Doctor, did you have a great deal of wealth when you had your own body? Spirit, why should I tell you of my affairs? Doctor, were you only pretending to be aristocratic? Spirit, I never heard such talk before. Doctor, you are a spirit, but do not understand your condition. Spirit, I can't see how I happened to come here, struggling to leave. Doctor, you must be sensible and listen to reason. Spirit, oh dear, what shall I do? Why should you hold my hands? Doctor, I am not holding your hands. I am holding my wife's hands. Spirit, I am not your wife. Doctor, ask these persons if this is not my wife. Spirit, I do not know these people, and I do not care to. Doctor, when you are ready to talk, we will talk sensibly. Spirit, you need not dictate to me. Doctor, how long have you been